Imagine the sheer terror of being pursued by authorities, only to face a deadly collision on a bustling highway. That's the gut-wrenching reality at the heart of a recent incident in Virginia that has sparked widespread debate. A 24-year-old man from Honduras, Jose Castro-Rivera, lost his life in a tragic attempt to evade Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, agents, highlighting the high-stakes dangers of immigration enforcement actions. But here's where it gets controversial. Was this a necessary crackdown on illegal entry? Or did it escalate into a preventable tragedy that raises questions about officer tactics and public safety? Let's dive into the details of this story, unpacking what happened and why it matters for anyone interested in how immigration policies play out on the ground. According to reports from Virginia State Police, VSP, the incident unfolded around 11 a.m. local time on Thursday at the Military Highway interchange off eastbound I-264. Officers responded to a call about a vehicle-pedestrian crash, only to discover an adult man who had been struck by a 2002 Ford pickup truck. The victim, later identified as Jose Castro-Rivera, was sadly pronounced dead right at the scene by medical responders. And this is the part most people miss. The preliminary VSP investigation revealed that Castro-Rivera was running away from an ongoing chase initiated by ICE when he jumped out of his vehicle and tried to dart across the busy interstate. VSP themselves weren't part of the pursuit, but are now leading the probe into the pedestrian accident, which continues to be examined for all the facts. Adding context to this heartbreaking event, a spokesperson for the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, DHS, explained that ICE had pulled over the vehicle as part of a carefully planned, intelligence-guided operation targeting immigration violations. When agents determined that the people inside were in the country without legal permission, they moved to detain them. However, Castro-Rivera put up strong resistance and bolted from the scene, dashing onto the hazardous roadway and putting both himself and other drivers at serious risk. Tragically, a passing vehicle collided with him, leading to his death. To clarify for those new to these situations, ICE, short for U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, is a federal agency responsible for enforcing immigration laws, often through operations that prioritize public safety and border security, but they can sometimes involve high-speed chases that escalate quickly. In a compassionate note, the DHS spokesperson shared that one of the ICE officers performed cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR, on Castro-Rivera before he passed away. Following that, the officer broke the devastating news to the 3 other individuals detained from the vehicle, referring to them as aliens, a term used in immigration contexts to describe people who are not U.S. citizens or legal residents. This human element underscores the intensity of these encounters, where officers must balance enforcement with life-saving efforts. This incident isn't isolated. It's part of a broader wave of immigration enforcement crackdowns happening across the country. For instance, just weeks ago, ICE conducted raids that sometimes hit the wrong targets, like in Portland, where agents mistakenly entered a home not involved in the operation, raising eyebrows about the accuracy of their intelligence. And earlier this week, in a targeted, intelligence-driven action on New York's Canal Street, 9 African immigrants suspected of illegal presence were arrested during a sweep focused on criminal counterfeit goods sales, showing how enforcement often ties into broader crime prevention. To expand on this, think of it like a multi-layered strategy. Immigration ops can uncover not just border crossing issues, but also links to other illegal activities, potentially protecting communities from scams or unsafe products. On a larger scale, ICE has been ramping up deportations, such as the recent flight that sent about 140 people back to Venezuela on October 15th, following thousands of similar removals over time. This illustrates the agency's push to manage migration flows, especially from countries facing economic or political turmoil, like Honduras and Venezuela, where many seek refuge from violence or poverty. But here's the controversial twist that might divide readers. Some view these operations as essential for upholding national laws and deterring dangerous crossings, arguing that resistance, like Castro-Rivera's, could endanger lives and justify swift action. Others see them as overly aggressive, potentially violating human rights by prioritizing deportation over asylum processes, especially in cases where individuals flee persecution. Is the pursuit worth the risk when it leads to fatalities? Does the focus on intelligence-based stops truly prevent broader harms, or does it sometimes create them? For beginners grappling with these ideas, it's worth noting that immigration debates often pit security concerns against humanitarian ones, with no easy answers in a complex world where policies affect real families. What are your thoughts on how immigration enforcement should be handled? Do you believe these tactics strike the right balance between law enforcement and compassion, or is there room for reform to avoid tragedies like this? Do you agree that such incidents highlight flaws in the system, or do they underscore the challenges of securing borders? Share your opinions in the comments. Let's spark a respectful conversation.